Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. I am Huck, and today we're going to go over all these great movies, some not so great, that came out in the year of 2024. It was really tough to narrow this down to a top 10 because I got that old Regal card, so I was out to go out a lot this year and catch a lot of movies in the theater. So we managed to do it. Crack the knuckles. All right, but it is now time. Sit back and relax as we go over my top 10 movies of 2024. All right, y'all. Now, before we jump on this top 10 list, let me just say there were a lot of great movies in the cinema this year. I think I saw about 47, like almost 50 movies this year in the theater. So I think I have a pretty good, like, catalog to pick from and give a nice top 10. There are so many that almost made it, but just didn't quite. Like Here, I loved Here with Zemeckis and, Tom Hanks, Robin Wright. It was literally at number 11. Like number 10 and 11, I kept flip-flopping on, and I could easily have switched this, but you'll see what's at number 10 and why I kept number 10 there. And so many other good movies. For example, I liked A Quiet Place Day 1, Maxine, Fly Me to the Moon was an unexpected surprise, Twisters, Alien Romulus, Speak No Evil. Transformers 1 was an absolute banger of a surprise, almost made the top 10, but mostly because I didn't expect it to be that great. It blew me away, highly entertaining. It's literally, I like it better than the live action Transformer movies, because those just sort of get so long and drawn out, but this one's like the animation's vibrant and the voiceover acting, it's funny and engaging. I just highly recommend Transformers 1. Like I said, along with Here, I would say those two are 11 and 12. And on a different day, maybe I would tuck those in and pull 2 out. But also, Smile 2 I like quite a bit. I actually liked Smile 2 a little bit more than Smile 1. I thought it had a little bit heavier stakes in the ending. Oh, if you haven't seen Smile 2, man, that ending is... I saw it coming, and I knew that's what they were going to do, but man, it stuck the landing for me. Let's see, what else was cool? Oh yeah, I saw Gladiator 2. Sonic 3 was fantastic. Loved that with the family. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Conclave had some real Oscar-winning performances in that. I definitely see Ralph Fiennes being a really good potential for taking the top spot this year. And Nosferatu. I just finished that just last night, which I thought was very good and creepy and moody and atmospheric, nice tone. Didn't quite crack my top 10. A little bit slow on pace here and there, but Skarsgård is insane as Count Orlok. He's really great. But there are 2 big ones I did miss out on this year. I don't know how I missed this one. The Wild Robot. I know that was a huge success and it's on a lot of people's top 10. But I don't know, just the timing or something. I just missed this one before it left the theaters. Now the other one I missed because it was barely in the theaters and I couldn't find it at all when it was out. And that is The Substance starring Demi Moore. So because I couldn't even find it at my theater, that one's not going to be on my top 10 either. All right, now let's get to my favorite movies of 2024. All right, at number 10 is going to be The Fall Guy. That's right. Look, this is a romantic action comedy. Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. It's about a, stunt man who has an accident at the beginning of the movie, kind of ends his career at the moment. And it pulls the 2 of them apart, and it's about them coming back together. And, Aaron Taylor Johnson plays sort of the actor that he doubles for as a stuntman, only he goes up missing. And now, Ryan's character, Colt Seavers, has to go find him, and it becomes this, crazy little action adventure. And it just, I don't know why this movie failed. It was one of the first movies of the year that I really loved. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I hope people go see this. And then it didn't do that well. But nonetheless, it did well for me. I really enjoyed it. So if you didn't get a chance to check out The Fall Guy, I also on video, on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K, there's an extended cut that's like 20 minutes longer. After seeing that, now I've seen both personally, I would stick with the theatrical cut because I just feel that it moves a little quicker. I think that extra padding of 20 minutes kind of slows it down a little bit. And with a movie that's about a stuntman and action and stuff like that, I feel like a quicker pace is more important for this kind of film. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So number 10, The Fall Guy. At number 9 is a movie I got to see with my daughter this year, and that is Inside Out 2. I was not expecting this film to blow me away. I enjoyed the first one. Enough time had passed. I was just like, okay, I'll just take her to go see this. It looked good to her. And man, it was very, very enjoyable. It's all about all the little emotions coming back, joy and fear and all those other ones. Only some new ones, like anxiety, come into play. And, because Riley, the kid in the movie, is a little bit older now. And so she has to deal with new emotions. And man, I just feel like this film dialed it in for the parents. For those of us who have kids about that age, my daughter's slightly older, but she totally relates to everything that Riley's going through, and so do I. So it was just a super charming film that exceeded my expectations, and I had a great time with her. So that memory sort of baked in as part of the experience. But there you go. Number 9, check it out, Inside Out 2. And number 8 is another family favorite. We all went out as a family, wife and daughter, and that is Wicked. Yes, this is an adaptation of the Broadway play, which we've seen. So it's kind of fun to see how they converted the stage to film, and it was fantastic. It was beautiful to look at. The direction is great. The look is fantastic. The casting is great. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are the 2 leads of this thing, and I think you got to agree that the biggest surprise was Ariana Grande being as good as she was. Everyone kind of knows her as, a little bit of a bratty pop star, licking the donuts and all that stupid stuff, but she dialed it in. She grew up just a little bit, y'all, and I think she showed us why she really wanted this part. There's a really cute video on YouTube that shows them calling both Cynthia and Ariana and offering them the parts, telling them they won the parts. Super cute. This movie also stars Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh. It's got a great cast, and like I said, the director did a fantastic job on this. It is a part 1, so it's a little daunting thinking, 2 hours and 40 minutes for part 1, and so it's not even a complete movie, but like The Empire Strikes Back, it builds and builds, and it gives you a big old cliffhanger, and it really does make you excited for the next one, which we should get in 2025. So yeah, if you enjoy musicals, I think you're absolutely going to love the story about how Elphaba becomes the Wicked Witch of the West in Wicked. Up next, I don't feel like we had a lot of great action movies in the year of 2024, or comedies really. We were really filled with lots of horror, suspense, thriller type movies for the most part, and a lot of family movies, but not a ton of great action and great comedies. But right here at number 7 for me, it's The Beekeeper with Jason Statham. I have seen this movie 3 times already, and it's a very well done, it's by the numbers, but Statham is great. He's on point. The action sequences are really good, and I was thoroughly entertained by The Beekeeper. There was other movies too, like Monkey Man. Monkey Man was okay. I felt like it was a little too like copycat of John Wick, and the shaky cam is back. I'm like, we don't need, that's old school. We'll stop with the shaky cam. So that one didn't quite crack the top 10. I liked the movie, but didn't quite crack the top 10. But The Beekeeper, the story is he's this beekeeper on this lady's property, played by Felicia Rashad, and she gets totally scammed, man, by these D-bags, where they take all of her money. And not laughing about taking her money, sort of what I call them, but so they take all of her money, and she's like, she owns these charities, and she has millions of dollars in these charities that go to these really needy people, and they take all that money as well, and she is just drain dry of every penny, and she's just devastated. So she ends it, and the investigation is, well, why did this happen? Of course, the beekeeper finds out who did it pretty quickly, by the way, and starts exacting his revenge, and these action sequences are really fun, and I think it builds to a nice climax. So if you haven't seen The Beekeeper, I know it sounds like a funny, silly little title, but I enjoyed this film a lot. So I got to give it up to one of the best action movies of the year, and that's The Beekeeper. At number 6, delivered exactly what I thought, and that's Deadpool and Wolverine, the big epic Marvel release this year. They didn't release a lot of movies this year because they were scaling back, and this is their big release if you don't count all those silly Sony Marvel releases. But this is not one of those. This is a really fun, popcorn movie from the summer. If you were looking forward to this union of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, which, we've been seeing their little banter and antics for a couple of years now, that sort of culminated to this movie. And I think it delivered exactly what we were looking for. We got some great cameos by several other characters. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So if you enjoyed it like I did, I think you're happy to see this on the list. At number 6, Deadpool and Wolverine. At number 5, the Apes franchise continues with the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Look, I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fan since the dawn of the Planet of the Apes. No, since the dawn of the entire franchise in the 60s with the Planet of the Apes, the original with Roddy McDowall. I've been a fan of these ever since. I enjoyed the Tim Burton one. For all those people who just always love hating on that, I loved it because I love the makeup, prosthetics, the look, the characters. The ending didn't stick it like it did in the original, but it's tough to sort of top the original. But Michael Clark Duncan and Tim Roth, everybody in those makeups performing their butts off, Helena Bonham Carter, fantastic. And then we get the CGI sort of updates in the Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes, which I liked all of those. So coming into Kingdom, I was kind of riding high on the train, hoping it would not drop the ball, and for me, it did not. I love the continuation. I love where they're headed with this. To hear that they're planning out 9 ape movies, sort of an entire story that probably maybe takes us right up to the Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston. Maybe I feel like that's where they're leading this to. It would be great to see where this goes. Like, I would love to see this, like, the next movies take us to regions we've never been. Like, what are the apes like in China or Russia or in any sort of European country? Like, what's the dynamic going on over there? Because we do know that it's a global thing with these apes. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this. I love the voice acting was fantastic, especially Peter Macon from the Orville plays the orangutan Raka. I just love his voice. It's so good. And of course, the villain in this film, Proximus Caesar, played by Kevin Durant. What a wonderful day!
What a wonderful day!
I mean, that's such a great moment for that. That character is so good. But I can't wait to see where they take this franchise from here. I love this franchise, and I'm excited. Like, we're on number 4. If we're going to 9, I'm all in. So let's go. At number 5, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. At number 4, the best documentary I've seen this year, and there were some great documentaries, and that is Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. Oh man, let me just tell you, I feel like this thing was put together with love and care and just reverence for Christopher Reeve and his wife Dana Reeve, who also had a great impact on our society after Chris's accident. They both became activists. It's basically, he became famous playing a hero and then remained famous for being a hero. And this film, the editing sort of bounces back and forth between, when he was, before the accident and the roles that he was getting and after the accident. And it just weaves it all in so nicely. And y'all, man, I took a ton of napkins in there with me. I knew I was going to be bawling. And sure enough, this movie brought me to tears so many times because I just loved Chris. He's still my favorite Superman ever. And I can't see how you would see this film and not be moved. It's just that good. So yeah, if you have not seen Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, do yourself a favor. I think it's on Max. Do a little Google and check it out. And definitely watch Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. At number 3, we're going with Dune Part 2. Man, what a phenomenal sequel this movie was. Directed by Denis Villeneuve. The characters, don't even get me started trying to name the characters, like Lord of the Rings stuff. It's like I just get all lost in the names. But I saw this on IMAX the opening weekend, and man, was it just stunning. Like, just the sound and the music and the cinematography, it was just so incredible. Denise, I think, just really knows this. So like how Peter Jackson knew the Lord of the Rings stuff, he knows this content very, very well. He makes it easy to follow because you get a lot of strange names and House Arrakis and House Harkonnen and all this stuff. So he keeps it all dialed in nicely. The sandworms make an even bigger presence in this film. So if you are a fan of Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2 keeps it going, keeps it alive, and does a phenomenal job that I just absolutely cannot wait for the conclusion in Dune Part 3. My number 2 films, maybe a little bit of a surprise. We've seen all these big heavy hitters, but I'm a huge fan of Saturday Night Live. And when the film Saturday Night came out, I just love this film. I was engrossed the whole time, just wondering, is this remotely how this was? when Saturday Night Live first came out. This is the 90 minutes leading up to flicking that switch and going live from New York. It's Saturday night, right? And the cast is excellent. The actors they've chosen to play, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, etc., nail it. They just nail it. They're so good. The guy playing Andy Kaufman also is the same guy who plays Jim Henson, because back in the day, Jim Henson had a Muppet segment on the show. Hilarious. So good. The film directed by Jason Reitman, who did a fantastic job directing this film, you know, ramping up all the sort of drama and excitement and the humor and the nerves and all the tension and all that stuff. J.K. Simmons shows up playing Milton Berle at one point. Pretty hilarious. You got to see it. But it made me love SNL so much that I had actually sold my season 1 of Saturday Night Live just because I wasn't watching. So I immediately got on eBay when I got home and I rebought season 1 of Saturday Night Live just so I could watch that premiere episode to see how it all flowed in. And that was fun. That's why doing these things is kind of such a kick. Going to movies, getting inspired, and, you know, following it up and watching the original season 1. So if you have not seen Saturday Night, please check it out. It helps that you're a fan, even if you didn't even grow up with the original. If you're just a fan of Saturday Night Live, this is how it all started. Like, this is the cast that started it all. Without this cast and, you know, the success of this, we wouldn't have the people today. We wouldn't have Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler, you know, Mike Myers, all these people, Eddie Murphy, none of it. So do yourself a favor and check out at my number 2, Saturday Night. And finally, at my number 1 is a movie I have not seen on anyone else's top 10, and I cannot believe, because to me, this was the biggest surprise. It was hard to find, like it wasn't in the theater, easy to find at all, and that is Strange Darling. I absolutely loved this film. It's a very nonlinear way of telling a story. It bounces back and forth. It says it's a movie in 6 chapters, so it bounces back and forth like chapter 2, 4, 3, 6, you know, and it keeps going back and forth, but it's done in such a way that you don't get lost. It's very easy to follow. The performances, Willa Fitzgerald, like, seriously, I get it. Everyone's getting Oscar noms for this and this and this, but Willa Fitzgerald is fantastic. Without her performance, this movie is dead. But she is excellent. And so for all those people who have just completely ignored Strange Darling, I'm putting this movie right at the top at number 1 because I personally think it needs all the attention it can get. Everything else that's maybe like all these other things that are bigger and have bigger budgets and push behind studios, Strange Darling is a very small little movie. It's directed beautifully by J.T. Molnar, and the cinematographer is actor Giovanni Ribisi, who apparently, you know, behind the scenes has always been into cinematography and shooting things, and he shoots this on film and does a phenomenal job. I got to go to a screening of this as well, so I've seen it 2 times this year, and it was fun to hear them talk about the film and the making of and the process of getting something like this off the ground. So if you haven't seen Strange Darling, well, by cracky, I'm giving it top notch at number 1. Okay, y'all, well, that is going to do it for my top 10 movies of the year of 2024. What did you think? I know there's a couple left out, 2 in particular because I didn't get a chance to see them, but others were really good and just didn't quite crack that top 10. But let me know in the comments below, what are your top 10 movies of 2024? If this video brought you here, thank you so much for coming to the Pop Culture Cafe. Do me a favor, get on down there, hit like, subscribe, smack the bell, leave a comment, and we'll share it with all of your friends. That's going to do it for 2024. Signing off till 2025. Thank you to all my Cafe members for their support. And if you'd like to be a Cafe member to help support the channel, please consider hitting that join button now.